So, this is one of the reviews that I have to do as my catch up because I was sick one week. I was sick one week and I just couldn't film, and I have hold a lot of reviews on hold because I just couldn't. And now I feel back and ready to film reviews now. So I've had this show on my mind for a while, and I still don't know how I feel about this one. Hmm. Yeah. So I I'm still trying to process my opinions on this movie or on this series, sorry. Um because I like aspects of it. And then there's the moments in this series where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. The Winchesters. So this show is a prequel. I'm I'm really debating if I want to go into spoiler territory. I mean, the show's been out for like what, 4 years? This aired in like fall of 2022, spring of 2023, like throughout that course of time. So like, it's fine if I spoiled the ending of the show, right? I mean, we're not getting a second season. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, I might just spoil the ending of the show. I'll probably spoil it at the very end of the video, though. So don't worry, I'll get to that. Uh, Train wreck when that comes. Um, but this is a prequel. Prequel, very used loosely. Um, uh, of Supernatural. And it follows Sam and Dean Winchester's parents, Mary and John, back when they first met during the 60s. John just served his time in the Vietnam War, and he's trying to figure things out. And he's trying to figure his whole life out. Um, he then meets Mary Campbell, who of course, has a secret. She's born in a family of demon hunters. Um, and of course, she's born into the Men of Letters, which, if you're a Supernatural fan, you know what the Men of Letters are. If you don't know what's in the Supernatural world, Men of Letters is just a group of talented, very popular demon hunters and monster hunters. So he goes in, finds out about her background, and he soon finds out that his father was also a man of letters himself. Uh, and the reason how is because he then, hold on. It's been a while since I try to remember characters' names. Um, so he goes in and, because he finds it all because uh he is trying to deal with a demon who knows who he is, and knows about his father. Sorry. His father knows. No. A demon knows who his father is, and that's why he soon finds out more about, why his father's a man of letters. Then he soon meets, of course, Mary, who her father has been missing for a while. So they all team up with Mary's friends, Carlos and hold on. I'm having the cast list right here because it's been like a month since I saw it. Where is she? Carlos and... Fuck a duck. Hold on. Latika. Latika. Um, so they all team up with Carlos and Latika, who is a few of Mary's friends, and they soon find out that the disappearance of her father is led to this creature named the Akrita, which the Akrita is just a hive mind led by a queen who can possess human bodies and is pretty much immortal and invincible to weapons. And so what the Akrita does is it seeks to wipe out humans, demons, monsters, and possibly angels, seizing complete control of a dimension. We're gonna get to that pretty soon. Because, boy oh howdy, that is a whole can of worms. So that's pretty much the plot and the focus of the show. Sorry, I had to have Google's help with some parts because I couldn't remember some bits and details. But yeah, that's what's happening in the show. So, and this show follows the supernatural format by doing a case of the week ish type routine, but the case of the weeks always lead to the Akrita in some way or form. And it's interesting. I will say, I really do like Drake Roger and Meg Donnelly's chemistry in this. They were really good in this. I don't know. I think Meg Donnelly was a perfect choice for Mary. I don't think, me personally, a few other people may think differently. I don't think Drake Roger looks like John, like a younger version of what John would be in the original show. That's just a me thing. But I did like his performance in this, and I did think he did a good job. I really did like some of the other characters that they added in here. Like, you have Carlos, who I think is possibly the funniest character in this series, and he does a really good job in this. But yeah. But some of my issues with this is that there's some moments in this series where I'm like, I don't know if it wants to be a prequel or a follow-up. Because, and this is where I'm going to get into some of the spoiler aspects of this, there are some territories in the series where it's relying too much on the original show when it really doesn't need to. Like, here, like, there's literally episodes in the show where you get, Loki back. Edward Speight Jr., who played, of course, both Gabriel and Loki in the original show. He comes back in this. Loki's back in this. Which, I did like the episode in the original show with Loki. I thought that episode was pretty funny. But yeah, but once Loki came back, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little weird. Then Rowena comes back. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the fuck out of Rowena. I think she's an amazing character. But once she came back, I'm like, what the hell are we doing? And this is where the spoiler territory sort of kicks in. Because what they decide to do is there's a twist at the ending of this series where I'm like, I don't think this was a wise decision. I think, here's my thing. I think for the show to work, I'm going to talk about what the twist is soon, but what I think the show could have worked and thrived better was it should have just stayed as a prequel. Look, I will say this. So, what I love about the NCIS Origins, which is a spin off directly tied to NCIS and focuses on Gibbs's past and his life, that show, is that Mark Harmon, who played Gibbs in the original NCIS, he came back to do narration. And it's pretty much told as if Gibbs is telling the story of what happened when he first joined NCIS, or at the time it was called NIS. That's what I love about NCIS Origins. They do that to a degree here in this show. Jensen Ackles is back in the show, and for a while I thought he was going to do what I thought Mark Harmon did in NCIS Origins, which is he narrates. And yeah, for like the first 10 episodes, first 10-ish episodes, that is what it is. You get Jensen Ackles as Dean Winchester narrating the life moments of his parents, and it's actually kind of nice. And you see Dean in his car driving in the Impala, which, spoiler alert, if you don't know what happened in the ending of Supernatural, and the ending of Supernatural, Dean dies and is sent to heaven. So there's a little scene in the ending of episode 1 where Dean is writing in a journal, and then he goes and drives in an Impala, where in my head I thought he was driving in heaven. I thought that's what was happening. So he was in heaven driving in his Impala. So this show came out at a time where multi-universal dimensions was a big thing. I mean, technically it still is, but it was a big thing for Marvel. They did it with the Across the Spider-Verse series, those films. So of course we have to do that in here. So, in the last 3 episodes, it gets revealed that Dean Winchester goes into this dimension where Mary and John meet each other for the first time, and he wants to help them. That's why Loki is in the show. That's why Rowena's in the show. At the last episode, even Bobby and Jack comes back. So there's that. Yeah. And this is where I say, yeah, this does not work at all. Because what the show should have just been, and it is because it promoted itself, even in the advertisements and the TV spots and everything. This was promoted as a pure straight prequel, and that wouldn't be like a continuation. That's not what you get here. Instead, this show hides itself to be a continuation show, and it takes place after Supernatural. And I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. Because, yeah, this show honestly would have worked better, in my opinion, as a prequel, and not a let's do a Supernatural season 16 and try and figure some way through it for the hell of it. It really did. It really didn't feel it, and it's weird because there are aspects in the show where I'm like, okay, this gives supernatural, and I'm like, I was really liking the show, and then those last three episodes happen. I'm like, I don't know if I get this. I really don't. It sucks because as a supernatural fan, I do love most of this show. I think Mary and John is good. I really liked Ada Monroe. I thought she was a cool character. She's like a witch who helps Mary and John and Carlos and Latika out. And she's like a motherly figure. She's essentially the mother. She's essentially the Bobby in the show, you know. And she's very caring. She's very thoughtful, and she's always there for Mary and John and Carlos and Latika. And like she's also helpful. And I really did like her, and I love the storyline that they did with her and her son. So, like, there are moments as a Supernatural fan where I'm like, okay, some of this material is good, and I like some of this writing, and I like some of these moments and these directing. But then when you find out the twist and where the show is going to lead to, it's sort of a downer. It sucks because I can actually see this show working, and I could see this show going well if only had they had one direction and stuck it with that. Instead, this just feels like the writers just flipped their scripts and said, actually, how about we do a season 16 instead and not a prequel? It just, that twist just felt, to me, just felt so out of nowhere and so random. It's weird. I don't like. Yeah, it's a good show, and I like some of the material in this. But like, if you don't know where the show is going to lead to, uh, and and like where what was going to happen next, it's kind of disappointing. It's a very disappointing way to format and make the show, in my opinion. But yeah, I think what I recommend this to any Supernatural fans. I, in a weird way, yeah, I would think so. I would just tell them just make sure you know where this is going to lead, and if you don't like it, just stop right before the last three episodes. If you don't like where this is going to lead towards to, just stop like after the last three episodes. Because it like there is good stuff in this, and I like some of the stuff that they do with the show. But then there are that disappointing elements that's toward the ending, and I'm like, I don't know if you really necessarily needed to do that. Um, but yeah, it's it's not a terrible show. It's more disappointing. I could see how this show would have worked. I could see how a Mary and John spinoff worked, and like just having it take place in the 60s, and I could see where this whole storyline and this whole aspect worked. I think what you could have just needed to do was have it be a prequel and have Dean narrate what's going on and leave it at that. That's it. Maybe have Dean or Sam or Cass come in as cameos saying, Are you seriously writing? Are you seriously still writing this book? Or something? I don't know. Or like, or maybe just Cass, because Sam would probably still be in uh, Earth or normal place. I don't know. Earth. Yeah. Um, but yeah. But like, yeah, I could have seen how this like storyline and how this show could have worked had they just stuck it with one concept. But yeah, I would still recommend this to Supernatural fans. Just be sure you know ahead of time what's gonna happen next. And if you aren't ready for that, just stop stop before the last 3 episodes, because it can be the ending can be a little disappointing once you know where the show's going and what the twist is, because it's a little sad. But yeah. But like, it's also tough because there's a lot of good talent in this. I did like seeing Rowena back in that one episode. Even if, although technically, in my opinion, she did almost nothing. But it was kind of fun to see her back in it. I mean, like, I just love Rowena. Rowena is probably one of my favorite characters in that show. Her and Crowley are just, although, yeah, honestly, I think my favorite character of Supernatural is literally Cass. It's probably my favorite character in that show. But yeah, um, but yeah, it again, these are just my opinions. Uh, but yeah, so I'm sorry. I have a whole bunch of my first time binge videos to try and catch up on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try my best to get these done before I completely forget. My I, w- I was sick that one week, and then my ADHD spiraled and said, I'm gonna hold off for a while. So, yeah. I'm so sorry. There's like 2 my first time binge I need to cover. So I still need to do Life, and then I still need to do season 2 of High Potential. So like I'm yeah. So what did you think of the Winchesters? Did you like it? Were you met on it? Or did it piss you off on it? Or are you like me, where you're like, this has good material, but it gets disappointing where it leads to? Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.